Jeff. Today I want to talk about the inner voice that we all have inside of us that talks to us 24/7. It even talks to you when you sleep. You know how you drive down the street and a little voice starts talking about, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do there, I'm going to talk to this person or whatever. That's that little inner voice. But we have two inner voices. One that's positive and one that's negative. For instance, this voice will guide you the right way if you listen to it. Most of us are not in touch with the inner voice. You know how you might go somewhere and you meet somebody and the first voice tells you that person's kind of creepy or something's not right, or you might go somewhere and it just doesn't feel right, another voice says you shouldn't be here. Then the second little voice will come in and tell you, oh, everything's okay. For 1 week I want you, everybody to do me a favor, start listening to the inner voice that tells you what to do, because the first voice is always a positive one and the second one is always negative. What happens, man is programmed for negativity. So we're more inclined to listen to something negative than we will before we listen to something positive. You know how you can be in the public, whether you're a man or a woman. You might see somebody that's attractive or somebody that's kind of gives you a certain kind of feeling, and you want to go up and say something to them, but for one reason or another, you decide you're not going to do it. The little voice tells you, oh, he's not going to like you, or she's not going to like you anyway. Start listening to yourself and follow that first voice and tell that second voice to shut the hell up. You know how we go through life and we might be in the process of trying to get a job, and you know you qualify for the job, you have everything it takes to get the job, and the little voice tells you, the first one tells you can do it, and then the day comes you have to go on for that test and the little voice tells you, you know what, you're not going to fail that test, you're wasting your time. Stop listening to that voice. That second voice is always going to guide you the wrong way. Start listening to the first voice. Or you might be driving down the street and you're going to turn on a particular street, and the first voice tells you to turn this particular street, and then the second voice says, no, go to the next street. Follow your first voice. You know, my sister, she doesn't buy lottery tickets. She doesn't think it's worth it. But the other day she was in the store, and the little inner voice told her, Tracy, buy a lottery ticket. She bought a lottery ticket and won $500. She listened to herself. Or we come across people in relationships. I met a young lady from New York. She was absolutely gorgeous. And she was so pretty, I was kind of like, why is she wanting me? I mean, it's just something that's just not right. She was just too beautiful. And I told my friend, I said, you know something, Sean? I said, something about this woman that's not right. I don't know what it is, but something's not right, because there's nowhere in the world a woman could look like this and be single. Well, I was right. Something was wrong with her. She was what I call user-friendly. As long as she can use it, she's friendly. She came off of this big thing about she made had a job paying $1,000 a week, etc. It was all lies. But I listened to myself, and I was right about her, and I let her go so I can grow. See, that won't happen again. We need to start listening to ourselves. You know, you can be in the process of doing anything, that little voice tells you can do it, and the second voice always come in and doubt it. Or you ladies will meet a man and he comes up to you and he's acting like he has it going on, and the little voice tells you, you know what, he's full of shit. And you go on to talk to him, you find he's full of shit, then you're hurt. You know, a lady told me about 10 years ago, she said, you know something, Jeff? She said, you always had a gift. She said, you need to start listening to yourself. She said, because you don't believe in what the little voice tells you. I started listening to myself, my life improved 100%. All of us have the inner voice that talk to us. But there's two inner voices, a positive and a negative. Start to follow that positive one. Just try this for a week. Don't listen to the negative voice, just listen to the positive voice for 1 week and see what happens if it guides you the right way. Because we always doubt ourselves. As I said, man is programmed for negativity. It's so easy for us to believe in something negative. It's so easy for us to see something in a dark light instead of a bright light. We always look at the negative part of life. But if you start listening to yourself, the best guide is you. There are two things you should worry about in life. It's your relationship with yourself and your relationship with God. But start listening to yourself, because it is a gift. Whenever your mind tells you something, try it for a week. Just do what the first voice says. Even when you sleep, it talks to you. You don't know it, but it talks to you. Some of us, we consider our dreams. That voice is always talking. Your brain never shuts down, because if your brain shut down, you wouldn't be around. It's always talking to you. You know, you might go to a store. I tell my daughter all the time, we go to a store, I say, Alexis, she's 14 years old, but she's 6'3", she weighs 254 pounds. And I tell her, I say, Alexis, don't buy that, you're not going to look right in it. and she won't listen. And we bite is too small or it doesn't fit her right. She didn't listen to me, nor did she listen to herself, because then she'll say, something told me not to buy that. But you have to learn to start listening to yourself. Start being your own best friend. The only hand in life you can depend on is the hand at the end of your wrist. We have a tendency to always go to somebody else for our problems, but we have the answers in ourselves. You just need to start listening to yourself. When I started listening to myself, it changed my life. Because I know more about what I don't want in life than what I want in life. But I listen to myself and it guided me the right way. I don't get caught up in the cut up like most people. Because I listen to a little voice. As I said one more time, take some time and take some inventory of yourself. And realize in some cases, that little second voice has always told us to go the wrong way. Start listening to the first voice. Whether you're driving, a relationship, you might go somewhere and you don't feel comfortable there. If the voice tells you don't feel comfortable, leave. Or you might go to a store and say, you know what, I'm not going to go to that store. The voice said, don't go to that store. Go somewhere else. Listen to yourself. I know I'm repeating this a lot, but we all need to do this because your life will change dramatically if you start listening to your own feelings and be in touch with yourself and start listening to the inner voice that talks to us 24/7. Be your own best friend. I hope this helps somebody because it helped me, it worked for me. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And if this works, give me a thumbs up and let me know because I'm very curious. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but it worked for me. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Have a nice day. Bye.